Hello, I'm Dr. Russell Don, President of Concordia University Chicago. Thank you for tuning in to today's Cougar Athletics broadcast. We take great pride in the strength of both our athletic and academic programs, which are rooted in our steadfast commitment to Jesus Christ. Dedicated to the liberal arts as a foundation of a high-quality college degree, we believe education should form individuals for service to their neighbors. This makes Concordia Chicago an exciting and fulfilling place to study, work, learn, and grow. Learn more today by visiting cuchicago.edu. Thank you, and go Cougars!
What's going on, Cougar Nation? I'm Dave Diamond here, accompanied by the assistant women's soccer coach, Coach Ben. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. We'll get right into things. We'll kind of recap last week. You had that senior day against WLC at home. You guys started up 2-0, and then unfortunately they kind of got back into it, and you guys knotted that one up for a 2-2 tie. Kind of give me the rundown of how that started off, and then kind of the unfortunate little bit of a collapse at the end too.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of positives to take from the performance. I think we started well. I thought we were dominant throughout the whole game, even though it ends 2-2. Just some individual errors here and there that we've talked about as a team that we know we need to eliminate to be competitive, both this year and then moving forward over the next few years. It's not dissimilar to last year. Like last year, we pulled out a 2-1 win, same thing, went up 2-0 on a PK. Pulled it back to 2-1 right before halftime, and I think it's just, we've discussed it before. I think it's a lack of maturity. Just a really young team, really young squad, unable to see out some results. But, there's a lot of good stuff out there. I think we possessed well. I think we pressed well. We kept them on the back foot for most of the game, and it was just like two isolated moments. And so I think as a group, as a coaching staff, we try to take the positives from that. We try to be a little more grounded. Like, yes, disappointing to give up a two-goal lead and a two-goal cushion, especially right before halftime. But at the end of the day, we're also like, it's probably a good point gained at home as well.
Absolutely. You kind of mentioned the kind of immaturity a little bit. I mean, you guys are only graduating a handful of players overall. How exciting is that when you're able to maybe look a little bit down the road and see, I mean, we got this group for the next 1, 2, 3+ years. Yeah,
I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I think when we look at it, it was shocking, exciting, all of the above when we did our senior day to only have 3 seniors. And again, one of those is a transfer in Morgan. Mm-hmm. So I think it was, again, we have a lot of expectation, a lot of hope for what's to come. But I think the message we're trying to tell the girls to make sure is like we're not looking too far into the future. What matters for us, right now is tomorrow against Marion and then obviously Wednesday against Dominican. But that's kind of been the message this whole season, like immaturity, a lack of experience can't be an excuse for us. And it's not necessarily a guarantee that it's going to work out over the next few years. Again, though, we want to make sure that we're also giving them the encouragement they need, the validation that they need, that yes, this is a very talented squad, some very talented individuals on it. And it's just going to be a question of, do we continue to see that growth that we've seen over the last few months here?
Yeah, it's that healthy blend of making sure you're telling them all the right things, but then also you got to remember to pull them back and kind of make sure that they're doing what they have to. We'll talk about Edgewood as well. Dropped a 2-0 loss in that one. What did you guys see out of that one that is going to help kind of propel you guys with these last 2 regular season matches?
Yeah, I think, in the larger scheme of things, we're always trying to take a step back as a coaching staff. When we look at the top 3 teams in the conference, so that's IIT, MSOE, and Edgewood, yes. Who Edgewood, a ton of credit to them. They didn't make the tournament last year. They've got some girls back from injury, and now they're competing for what looks like a conference championship. I would say that we went into it high expectations. Again, we try not to be overawed by the opposition, even in our scout reports. But I think when we look at those 3 matchups that we've had in the past, to only give up 5 goals against teams that most teams in our conference are giving up 8, 9, 10 goals against, huge credit to the girls, huge credit to the way that they're rolling out there and really raising their intensity. Looking at the game in particular, we dominated that first half. The goal comes against the run of play. We had more shots on goal. We had more possession. We had more offensive touches in the attacking half. By every metric, we should be, if not winning, at least not losing going into the half. So that was a bitter pill to swallow at halftime. But again, we're like, there's 45 minutes left to get this thing back.
Definitely.
And so I think there was a lot of good to take from that. And second half, fair enough. Intensity dies a little bit. I think it was a cold night up in Madison, and Edgewood is always a tough place to go. So we knew that they'd come out stronger second half, and they did. But again, we were still pushing for that goal up until that final kind of second goal kind of was the final nail in the coffin for us. But when we step back and we take a look at it, we're like 2 goals against one of the top 3 teams in the conference is not a terrible result on the road. But also we're realistic in saying like we have a team that's good enough to give anyone a run for their money on our day.
Yeah, definitely. We've all been seeing that the whole year, so it's very exciting. Kind of looking over the kind of past through NAC play overall, is it difficult? And then how do you keep the coaching staff and then the roster overall from looking at prior matches that are like those shoulda, coulda, wouldas, like, man, we had that one, but we just missed it?
We often joke that that's something for postseason. That's the moments where we'll sit down and kind of evaluate a little more in depth. One of the big things we like to say is like we can do everything right and it could still go horribly wrong for us. And I think like the best analogy that we've got is kind of when you're counting cards in blackjack. You can make sure that you're plus whatever to make sure that you have the highest possibility chance of getting that 21. But there's also a small probability that even if you've prepared, done all the correct things, done everything behind the scenes, it still might not work out for you. And that's, again, blessing and a curse, is that we operate sometimes on that small chance of success against teams that are maybe a little out of our league or a little better than we are. But at the same time, that's what gives teams hope against us as well. And I just think, we've been undone. Individual moments, few moments where maybe we've taken our foot off the gas a little earlier than we should. But again, there's a lot of good performances where I think we're putting teams under pressure. The stats are backing us up that we're much improved offensively over last year. Definitely. And so I think when we look at it, like, shots on goal, shots taken, chances created, even number of shots we're giving up, every statistic we're improving on year. And so I think that's really the way that we have to look at it, is like, yes, results haven't gone our way, but if we based it completely off of results, we'd probably be singing a whole different tune as a coaching staff.
Awesome. Well, we'll kind of mention what we got coming up this week. 2 final regular season games, 1 on the road, 1 at home. We'll talk about that one on the road against Marion tomorrow. It's really hard from the spectator side to not sit here and say, that's a must-win right there. When you kind of look at the way the points are stretching out and you look at some of the teams that are bunched up with you guys and what their schedules look like, how do you kind of avoid putting that much pressure and that much weight on the players' shoulders?
It's funny because we just had practice and we literally heaped the pressure on today. So we agree as a coaching staff, as a program, everyone on our team is aware of it. Tomorrow is a no-holds-barred must-win game. We've kind of ridden our luck a little bit when results haven't gone our way in the game that we're in, that other results have gone our way, that we're in the position we're in, that going into the last 2 games, again, we are still in control of our own destiny. But if we don't pick up the win tomorrow against Marion, which admittedly, Fond du Lac is a tough place to go, on a Saturday afternoon. So I'd say if we don't pick up the full 3 points against Marion, we're hoping results go our way, and then we pick up full points against Dominican on the final day, which is not a situation we ever want to be in. And, I think when we look at it, again, big picture over the past few years, like the first year we're missing out on conference. My first year we're missing out on a point 2 years ago. And then last year, obviously, we literally took it to the final day against Dominican again. But we're like, the performances are much better. It's just a question of getting those results now. But no, we are fully embracing the pressure that is heaped on us tomorrow.
Well, I'm excited because, you kind of have that pressure that you've been talking about, and it's just like you can only pound the process for so long. Eventually, the results got to show up, and we got 2 games to see what the results look like. So 100%. It's very exciting. I wish you luck this week. You got a lot coming your way, so I'm very excited. For any more information on women's soccer, go to cucougars.com. I'm Dave Dimling signing off. As always, roll Cougs.
Hello, and welcome back to this amazing game that is soccer. We have this incredible derby between Dominican University and the Concordia Cougars. So to start off, we will have in the lineup Naomi Gonzalez, Natalie Flores, Izzy Fairless, Reagan Espinoza, Alexa Martinez, Erica Flores, Emma Schilsman, Angelina Moreno, El Wheelock, Presley Alvarado, and on the Dominican University side, it's Cameron Klinger, Sierra Rue, Sarah Matusik, Mia Dosen, Natalie Lopez, Ariana Barney, Tia Gar, Megan Wilhite, Sarah Borsellino, Mackenzie Cutting, and Gianna Stanek. So, bringing to you this game, it's Alfredo Jaramillo Ruiz joined by Lydia Vanderhaar. What do you see in this team right now, going into this game?
For our Cougars, they seem very locked in and ready to compete and come out hopefully with the victory to upset the whole entire standings before the NAC tournament starts and even slip into that ace spot. But for them to do that, of course, Aurora has to lose their game. St. Norbert has to lose and or tie, and then of course we have to win this game. So it's a tough lineup.
No, yeah, it's definitely it's going to be a very competitive game. I know that Dominican has had a pretty good season for their standards, and they come from 3 wins in a row. 3 out of their last games have been wins, and for the Concordia Cougars, they have been struggling a little bit. They have only 2 wins they have only 1 win out of their last 5 games, 1 draw as well in there. So it is going to be a complicated game, but I do think that the Concordia Cougars have enough to compete against this Dominican team despite the difference in records. So we're almost going to get on our way to the beginning of this match. An incredible derby that we always enjoy. There's a lot of competitive moments in this, and we have started. Let's hope that the Cougars can get the ball first and keep it and take possession as much as possible, because that's what they're going to need in order for this game to really be on their side. A little bit of fighting over the ball. Cougars recover. Now it's back to Dominican. It'll be going down the wing. Try to clear, but now it's cleared. It'll be a ball for the Cougars. No, it'll be for Dominican. Dominican has the ball. They're going to look for an opportunity here to take a shot. Will they take it? She cuts in. Going to take the shot. Nobody takes the shot. It's been deflected. Here's another opportunity, but now the coverage is going to be there by the defender. It's been cleared, and now Dominican recover the ball again. Still for Dominican, a strong start for the other River Forest side, the neighbors that are a couple blocks away. That's what makes this game so much more exciting, that they're very close by. It's always a debate whether who will take this game. Comes Dominican. Shot opportunity, and it's over the goal. It's gone wide. But it's a strong start for the Dominican side. And it's a very good team. I mean, they've scored overall 34 goals throughout this season compared to the 15 goals that the Cougars have scored. Most of those goals coming in the first half. Here's an opportunity to take a cross. She sends it down the middle. Dominican still has it. Still an opportunity to take another shot. And it's been deflected, and it will be going out for a corner kick.
None of these shots this game are going to be what they want or precise, because while walking in here, you could tell how windy and everything was. So goalies have to be aware that the ball will definitely get carried no matter the smallest shot. And then even for the goal, even for the player trying to chip it out, out of their area or just in that zone, it's going to either be chipped farther than they want it to be, or they're going to not be able to get a good footing on it.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for a shot, and it's a goal! The first goal for Dominican. I believe there was it might have been a slight deflection off the defender. Don't know if it's exactly an own goal, but that's the first goal for Dominican, only 2.5 minutes into this match. Something that usually doesn't go against this CUC team, which is the crosses. They usually do a pretty good job with that, and this time they have really struggled with that corner. Like you said, there's the wind factor. It moves the ball a little bit every once in a while, and it just changes the whole entire game completely. Now the Cougars will try to make a comeback very early on. They'll try to recover from this big blow to their confidence. Here down the wing, Alexa Martinez looking to find someone inside the box, but she's being covered really well. She has no space to really move the ball around. She tries to go back to Shilsman, but they lose possession. Now it's Shilsman's again against Megan Willett. Down the wing, recovering the ball. Now it'll be ball for the Cougars. With the possibility of looking for Alexa Martinez. But no, it goes over to Angelina Moreno now. Covered back by the Cougars. Dominican, it's a back and forth. One recovers, one loses it. And the Cougars are just trying to find a way to keep possession as much as possible so that they don't make any more of errors like these. Here's another opportunity. But it's well recovered. Now it's Izzy Fairless. Fairless tries to send it to Alexa Martinez. She does. Alexa Martinez tries to get out of that very tight space. Angelina Moreno, not with a great control, but still keeps the ball, tries to send it to her teammate. Now it's a counterattack. But it will be stopped by the Cougars defense. Fairless sends it over to teammate. It'll be played very much in the back of this Cougars defense, risking a little bit too much for any of these defensive mistakes. But I think that what they have to do is really try to move the ball up more into the midfield, not so much in the wings, because in the wings they're really getting caught up with a couple of these high pressure moments. Dominican recover the ball, still looking for another opportunity to expand the lead very early on. It's what they want, because they do that, it's going to complicate the game for the Cougars even more. Moreno looking for a long ball now. The Dominican player complicates the whole entire play. Now Izzy Fairless has it. This is an opportunity. Another opportunity to take the shot, and it's over the goal. It's a fantastic attempt, but it was just a little bit wide. Didn't really get the best contact on it. What are your thoughts?
That was a good back and forth, not giving up, trying to get back the ball once they lose it. And even that shot, even though the wind, you could tell that for the third ball, the wind carried it, but she kept going, pressuring, and that made the Dominican defender lose the sight of the ball, and she was able to recover it. And then that cross is a beautiful cross that almost went into the goal. So,
yeah, a lot of these defensive mistakes that we see by both teams, those are the ones that the Cougars really have to try to exploit. Just like this one, there's a bit of overconfidence with the defender from Dominican, and then you see that opportunity to take the shot. It went slightly wide, but if we can really use those opportunities to go ahead into the game and make a difference, I think that this Cougars team still has the possibility of doing something in this game. Now it'll be a ball for the Dominican. Sending it long to try to find her teammates, but doesn't quite get it. It's a very interesting start to this game. We're only 6 minutes in, but it's already a very, very exciting game. Usually how these games between Dominican and Concordia University of Chicago tend to be. Now to Dosen, sending it over to Gar. Gar still with the ball, finding her teammates, trying to find any little bit of space to send a through ball. Here's an opportunity to go through, but the Cougars defense are doing quite a good job at not letting any of those through balls in. I mean, the corner was really just a unfortunate situation. Now we'll have another corner. Let's hope that they can defend this one a little bit better. No, it'll be a throw-in. Alexa Martinez trying to get out of that really tight space. Jelena Barreno will be offside. No, my bad. It'll be a throw-in. I was like, why offside if they're on their half? Throw-in now for Dominican. Still with the possession, trying to find any possibility of crossing the ball. Now sending it over to their goalkeeper, Naomi Gonzalez. Very interesting goalkeeper. Freshman, 5'8", has taken this starting spot and made it her own. Presley Alvarado sending it far. Now it'll be for Izzy Fairless. Alexa Martinez tries to recover. Doesn't do so. Tia Gar still with the ball. Sending it over to Barrett. Dominican really keeping a lot of the possession in this first half. It's only a few minutes in, but you can see the clear dominance in possession by Dominican. They don't tend to lose the ball as often as the Cougars do.
But to even to add to that, just because, yes, the Cougars have made a lot more mistakes, but Dominican hasn't been able to capitalize on most of the mistakes that the Cougars made. Unlike when Dominican makes small mistakes, us Cougars have been able to pounce on it and able to have a whole bunch of different opportunities, like getting it out of our zone and like our previous almost scoring chance.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be their strong point for the Cougars, trying to find those mistakes in their defense and really taking every single chance they get to get on the score sheet. Dominican on the other side, they're going to have a very difficult time getting through that defense. I mean, it's a very good defense, even though the record says a little bit different, but it just, I don't know. I feel like this team has a lot of potential still. They're very young. A lot of them are freshmen, so they still need a lot more experience. But in the coming years, they could be a really, really good team. Comes Dominican still trying to find a cross. They send it in, but like I said, crosses are not a weakness for the Cougars. So it was a little bit surprising that in the corner they got beat to it. Comes another cross, an opportunity, but it goes straight over the goal, and nothing to really worry about for Naomi Gonzalez. Presley Alvarado sending it over to Alexa Martinez, doesn't win, and now it's Fairless. Fairless taking on the player, sending a long ball for Barreno, but she'll have to chase after it because the Dominican player doesn't want to know anything about that ball. She doesn't want to make a mistake or risk anything, so she sends it over to the side of the field. Now it'll be a ball for the Cougars. Schlisman with the ball. Sending it to Barreno. Barreno inside the box. Down Schlisman sending the cross in. This could be an opportunity. Doesn't quite get a good contact on it, and the goalkeeper for Dominican will have the ball. No problem. Trying to send it long to get her teammates to really go back onto the Cougars' side of the field. Cougars haven't really been on their side too much. It's been mostly a counterattack game for them. Now to be back to Naomi Gonzalez. Presley Alvarado. Alvarado moving the ball forward.
Good way to capitalize on all that space that she had. Too bad her teammates didn't get open for her.
Yeah, sometimes a lot of that moving forward, you need to have communication with your teammates so that they understand what it is that you're doing. There's an opportunity for Dominican. They're looking to find a cross or a shot anywhere they can. It's a shot, and Naomi Gonzalez has it. Absolutely no problem for her. Not enough power on that shot. It was going good into the corner, but nothing to worry about for her. A now experienced goalkeeper, even at a freshman level. Sends it long over to Fairless. Doesn't get a contact on it. That'll be a great play. Here's Dominican with another opportunity going down the line. But again, the Cougars' defense is a solid wall right there. It'll be a ball for the Cougars. Izzy Fairless. Now it'll be for Dominican. Really have to try to keep, like I said, possession of the ball as much as possible, because when they don't have the ball, Dominican really do a lot of damage to that defense. And I mean, it's fine if they can hold out the first half or the first few minutes of this match, but second half, it's going to be a little bit more complicated because you start to have players with fatigue. You start to, you start to kind of lose the rhythm of the game. That'll be 2 subs coming in for the Cougars. Be Alexa Martinez leaving the field, and Izzy Fairless as well will be leaving the field. In with number 17 will be coming in Grace Chavez, and the other player that will be coming onto the field too will be Sofia Cáceres. Now ball for Dominican. Not a great pass there from Natalie Flores to her teammate. Cáceres getting her first touch of the ball. Looking forward to find any possibility with Grace Chavez. Chavez now sending the ball back to Schlisman. Moreno over to Chavez. The ball is lost back to Dominican. Chavez sends a through ball, but it's going to be a throw-in for the Dominican side. The game has plateaued a little bit in the last 2 minutes. Not really too many opportunities. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, they're all starting to, I think, both teams are understanding that the problem with the wind is definitely going to be their biggest issue, because both teams, they're trying to chip it, and like I keep saying, there's a wind wall, or they send it too far and the other team gets it. But then also, there's a few times when us Cougars were able to make a mistake on purpose, because they knew that if you hit it hard enough because of the wind, it will make the ball a little bit unpredictable, and in our favor, we can capitalize on that mistake. But other than that, we're both making too many mistakes. Both teams are.
No, yeah, I feel like that's what happens usually early on in the game, especially in a high-stakes game like this one. It's always high stakes because it's Dominican versus Concordia Cougars. I mean, it's a game that both teams always want to win. It's a game that they fight to the end. And, I mean, there's bound to be some mistakes in the beginning because everyone was very excited, very very eager to do something different. Here's an opportunity for Dominican, still trying to get through that defense. 2-man marking. Getting man marked by 2 people is quite a difficult thing to get off of. Here. Shot for Dominican, and it's an almost, oh my gosh, that was an unbelievable shot. It hit the crossbar, and it nearly went in off of Naomi Gonzalez. What a powerful shot. Fortunately for the Concordia Cougars keeper, didn't really hit her that well that it would have gone in. Otherwise, we'd be talking about the second goal of the match. Now Grace Chavez trying to give a response back to Dominican. She gets caught up there between 2 defenders. loses the ball now. It'll be another attack by Dominican. The other side. Ball's recovered. It'll be Dominican's ball. But yeah, that shot was unbelievable. It was from outside the box as well, which it's really good shot right there.
It's closer to the 20-yard line. Was able to get a shot off like that. That's pretty impressive. And then also for Naomi to be able to get down on the ball or even feel that it hit her but not turn around where she loses sight of all the other players to make it for Dominican to be able to have a counter. That's also quite impressive.
Yeah, there was a bit of luck right there too, because if that had hit her back, there really wouldn't have been much that she could have done to keep that ball out of the net. Here's another opportunity for a shot, but Cougars defense putting a lot of pressure right there, trying to recover the ball. It'll be a free kick for Dominican.
That was a good defensive skill going on by Reagan Espinoza, making sure that the Dominican player wasn't able to turn. That was a good job, but of course that led to a foul.
Yeah, they really do put a lot of pressure on. I honestly didn't think that this was a foul. It's just shoulder on shoulder, and I mean, I would say just play on, but the ref thought otherwise. It'll be a easy catch for Naomi Gonzalez, sending it back to Schlisman to try to get a counterattack real quick. She's looking for Barreno or Chavez, but doesn't get it through. Barney stops her from sending it down the line. That'll be a ball for Barreno, but once again, stopped by Barney. That'll be Reagan Espinoza sending it forward. Still a very competitive game. Here's another opportunity for Dominican, and it's been blocked. Unbelievable shot, but I'm not sure if it was Schlisman who got that deflection off or if it was Naomi Gonzalez. Either way, it was a very close opportunity for the Dominican side to expand their lead and really take control of this game. Now it's another opportunity for the Cougars. Let's hope that they can really use it, but unfortunately, it's been deflected, and now Dominican recover the ball. Want to see a bit more of ambition when going forward from the Cougars. Feel like they doubt a little bit too much. Now here's a shot, but it's a little bit way too soft. But this is what I'm talking about. Those shots that they take from outside the box, try it, give it a chance to see if you can score a screamer or something like that. Make the game a little bit more interesting, a little bit more competitive. Now is Julia Urbanchek with the ball, trying to move it forward, looking for her teammate. That'll be a throw-in for the Cougars. Sending it over, but it's going to be now for Dominican. Not the greatest of contacts there. You know, it's not, I don't think this is a bad scoreline yet, considering that Dominican come from scoring 4 in their last game, and 5 in the game before that, and then 3 in the one before that. So this is a team that has a lot of offensive power. And, well, the Cougars have tried, but they don't have as much of that offensive power as Dominican does. Doesn't mean that they don't have good players on attack. It's just they haven't been able to get those goals. They haven't been able to get through and finish all those opportunities that they have. But on attack, they have pretty good players. They have players that are very talented. And even on the bench, they have a few players that haven't gotten as many minutes as we would have hoped, that have a lot of potential and talent for the years to come. A lot of them are freshmen as well. This very strong team that Coach Eddie Garza has been building. And despite the record this season, I think that with a lot of these new incoming players and anybody that they already had, they can really build a strong project here at CUC. Schultzman tries to clear it. Now it'll be ball for Dominican. Barney tries to look for anybody to send it to. It'll be Rue. Barney sending a long ball. That'll be Gar. Gets the ball taken away. Now it's Grace Chavez. Grace Chavez trying to keep possession of the ball. They call a foul. And it'll be for the Cougars. Presley Alvarado doing a fantastic job during this game. Grace Chavez tries to recover but loses the ball. Comes the Dominican side trying to find another space like they did in those first 2.5 minutes. Here's an opportunity to send across. She does. And it's over. Very complicated cross for her teammate to really get a good contact on it. And Naomi Gonzalez was hoping that that was the case. And it was. And now it'll be corner for Dominican. Another goal-scoring opportunity like they did in the first 2.5 minutes. But defensively, the Cougars have been pretty solid. Here's the cross. Gets a header on it. Trying to get it out of there as fast as possible. Now Moreno sending it over to her teammate. Going down the line. Here could be an opportunity. It's 3 versus 1. She still has it. The Dominican defender does not want to know anything about it, and as a matter of fact, I believe that will be a foul. There's a slight push. The athletic trainers will be going onto the field to make sure that Dominican player is doing all right. Meanwhile, the CUC Cougars are going to get indications from their coach, trying to see what they can improve on, how they can, what kind of mistakes they're making, or what the perspective of their coaches.
For the breakaway that Natalie Flores just had, that was a good placement, good ball touches all through, starting from our 20-yard line all the way to their 20-yard. That was a really good, fast, composed an attempt, but it was too bad that none of her teammates could have followed up for her.
No, yeah, it was a very complicated run. She had 3 players on her, and eventually she wasn't able to find anybody that was right next to her. But that's whenever you're in a corner, you got to be ready, no matter if you're a defender or if you're a midfielder or a forward, anybody that's on that field other than the goalkeeper. You got to be ready in those corners to go on a counterattack and help your teammate out, because if they get one of those opportunities, they got to be able to rely on you to be there so that they can send a through ball and create a goal-scoring opportunity. And it seems that the Dominican player will be okay, and there will be no further complications in this game. "24 minutes in here at CUC. The goal that they scored was in the first 2 minutes. 1-0 for the Dominican Stars against the Concordia Cougars. Very, very close game. Not as much in terms of shot opportunities. Obviously, the Cougars only have 3 shots. Meanwhile, the Dominican Stars have 8 shots total, 3 of them on target. But in terms of possession, even then, even with Dominican having more possession, I think that both teams have been fighting for this game. And they've both been doing a pretty good job at it, especially the Cougars when it comes to their defense. Now it'll be Gar sending a through ball. But There will be no problems there. It'll be sent to a corner. It'll be a ball for Naomi Gonzalez. Just slight deflection on the Dominican player when getting that ball out of there. Sofia Cáceres sending it down the line. Will she be able to keep the ball in? Yes, she does. I think one of the mistakes that I see a lot of this CUC team make is that they want to take on the player a little bit too much instead of looking for the pass to their teammate. And, I mean, it's fine if you want to take on a player and you can do so, but it's not every play that you have to take on that player, because then they put a foot in, they take the ball away, and then you lose possession of the ball.
Right, I would agree with that. Their one-on-ones need to be more precise and more not every single play, like you said, like every other time, or even know the players that they have to try to stop and slow down. Because if you're trying to just one-on-one every single player on the field, then you're basically just having it a 1v1 game for the whole entire game, and that will just tire everybody out quicker than need be.
Yeah, that I agree fully with that. Mia Hirayama will be on the field now, and the one that goes out of the field will be Julia Urbancha, giving her a little bit of rest, while a very important player like Mia Hirayama comes into the field, one of those players that just does a lot of recovery work of the ball, and I think that's exactly why they brought her in. I think we need a little bit more possession. We have to have the ball a little more if we want to get any more of those opportunities like we saw with that run before the foul a couple of minutes ago.
What I've noticed of later into this game of just how both teams are now starting to play the bunting game of just hoping that their teammate will be able to get to it instead of having composed passes, talking lead balls just like that one that Erica just gave to Hirayama.
No, yeah, I fully agree. I see that a lot too. And I think that's why they brought Mia Hirayama into the game. She really just, like I said, she recovers a lot. She distributes a lot. So I feel like she adds a little bit more solidness into that midfield to try to keep that team connected. It'll be a throw in for the Dominican side now. Rue with the ball, covering it. Ball's been sent long. It's been cleared. Now it's just the ball is just bouncing all over the place.
Now, like I said before, both these teams, our Cougars and the Stars, are displaying bunt ball, and you can tell because it's starting to get chippier and more aggressive.
Presley Alvarado gets pushed over, but nothing is called, and it's a very rough game. A lot of pushing, a lot of shoving, but it makes it interesting, and it adds a little bit of spice into the game for both teams to really feel the competitiveness of these two sides that these two sides have had throughout their entire history. That'll be Erica Flores over to Cáceres. Cáceres trying to maintain possession. She's being really pressured a lot. Now she loses, and Dosen sends it down the wing. An opportunity for the Dominican side to send a cross, and it is, but Naomi Gonzalez catches it without a problem. Looks for an opportunity of a counterattack. Doesn't see any of it. Lets her players really get back into position. He's sending it long. Alvarado. Cáceres. Back to Alvarado. Now Erica Flores. Dominican side recovering the ball as soon as the Cougars are trying to find an opportunity to score. Here's an opportunity for the Dominican side. Takes a shot, and it's been saved by Naomi Gonzalez. Fantastic save. It's a very difficult shot down in the corner. Not too much power, but Very, very good placement. However, Naomi Gonzalez was there, one of those experienced keepers at a very young age that I could tell you. Very, very, very tall compared to the rest of her teammates, and that plays a lot into her advantage when really covering those shots right there. Going to be a corner. Sends the cross in, but it's cleared by the CUC defense. Here's another opportunity to send a cross, but the pressure is very strong by the Cougars defense. Sends a through ball. Cáceres clears it, doesn't want to know anything about it. And so do the Dominican defenders. Don't want to complicate a possible counterattack there. Moreno just blasts the ball forward. Now Erica Flores trying to keep possession of the ball, but however, it's been taken back by Dominican. Dominican trying to find a through ball, doesn't really find it. Mia Hirayama trying to find Cáceres. Cáceres back to Hirayama. Flores loses possession of the ball. And there's a foul right there. It'll be for the Dominican side. There was a slight push. Gar felt the contact and didn't think twice to let her weight fall onto the ground, making sure that she got that foul. Sending a long ball, trying to find her teammates. But once again, the Cougars clear that ball. Solid, solid defense. Everybody is making sure to add themselves to that defense. It's going to be a complicated game for the Dominican side if they want to try to get through. I feel like that first goal was just like a slight mistake. Because like I said, it's not usual for the Cougars to not win those headers. We'll see a couple players leaving the field. Some coming on. From Dominican side, it'll be Evelyn Salazar who's coming in, and Sierra Rue will be the one who's getting a few minutes of rest. It'll be a throw in for the Cougars. Presley Alvarado leaves the field, and in comes Brooke Sheriff. Interesting.
I wonder where they're doing a goalie change.
Yeah, I'm a little confused about that too.
Because I understand that having height, especially, no one even talks about it. Having height as a goalie is probably one of the biggest advantages. Because as someone who's like Naomi Gonzalez is 5'8", she can cover more than just the top half of the net, which is where most people try to go, and people who are shorter, like Brooke is, who's 5'2", who try to go for those top shows where Naomi can just easily block those and grab those with ease. But at the same time, Naomi's also able to get down and dive compared to all the other like goalies that I've seen that are tall, if not taller than her. So this goalie change will be an interesting play.
Yeah, I agree. But the thing is, I feel like, well, at least on the play-by-play, it says that they've made a goalie change for an infield player. Because Naomi Gonzalez is still on the field. Be a free kick for the Dominican side. A fantastic opportunity to go to goal. And she does, but it's just wide. That'll be the ball for Naomi Gonzalez. Looking to go forward. The Cougars trying to find kind of a rhythm to really keep possession of this ball, find opportunities, look for spaces. And that really is the first time we see Brooke Sheriff going onto the field and playing outside of her normal position. Here's an opportunity for the Cougars to cut in. Takes the shot, and it's a goal! Unbelievable shot! Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Right in the top corner, nothing for the goalkeeper to do. It kind of bent down. There's a very, very weird way that the ball went up in the air and then kind of slightly just dipped. But it's unbelievable how that cut in, and placing it in that top corner is not an easy thing. Great goal by the Cougars. And it'll be Grace Chavez who takes the credit for that goal, assisted by Erica Flores. Thoughts on that goal?
That was an unbelievable goal. That's probably one of the top 10 hardest shots to get on the 20, on the farthest side possible, closest to her bench. I even think she even able to get that up and over the goalie, who was probably a little too far out. But even then, if she was on her 6, she would not have been able to cover that or even grab that ball. That was a beautiful textbook shot.
No, yeah, I fully agree. I do think the goalkeeper was off her line. It is a mistake by the keeper, but even then, even if she was in a good position, that shot was going straight in the top corner. I doubt that she would have been able to do anything. And like this, I said at the beginning of this game, the record that these two teams have is very different, but it doesn't matter once we go into a derby like this one, Dominican versus Concordia, because both teams want to win very badly. This is a game that anybody can take it. It doesn't matter if Dominican have won every single game this season or if Concordia have lost every game this season. No matter what the record is in any season, in any year, this game will always be a very complicated game for both teams.
And even the record never shows how much work that the teams put on and off the field. Seeing for what I've seen and noticed of watching all our Concordia Cougars games, that we have better chemistry. And even just being around some of them, just they always greet each other, even if they're passing in the hallway or stuff like that. So chemistry on and off the field will always correlate back onto the field, and they're always going to be stronger as teammates, and they'll understand each other with their communication. Even the slightest play, the other player on their team will understand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that team chemistry, that great team environment in which everybody trusts each other on the field, on and off the field, that's what you really need for a team to thrive. And I would say something funny, which is that Brooke Sheriff might be a lucky charm. You know, she came onto the field not in her usual position as a keeper, and immediately there was a goal that the Concordia Cougars scored. Obviously, the credit goes to Grace Chavez and Erica Flores for building up that play and having that goal go in. But I think that it's a very interesting coincidence right there.
Having a goalie get on the field going against another goalie is an advantage to the goalie. Because just like a defenseman going against the forward, the defenseman wants to and always wants to know what the forward wants. And the forward knows what the defenseman wants. But as the goalie, you pretty much need to know what every other position wants to do with the ball and how they want to do and how they want to accomplish it. So for her to come up on the field, that was a very strategic tactic that our head coaches did.
Yeah, and it's not weird to have a goalkeeper on the field for the Cougars. We've seen it in the men's team. We've seen it in the women's team. Now we've seen it in the women's team, but we definitely have seen it in the men's team 2 years ago with goalkeepers that we've had like Roberto Romero and like Joseph Perez. So it has been a thing that we've seen the Cougars do a lot in the past, and now we see another goalkeeper go onto the field. And usually it really does work out with even sometimes a goalkeeper like Joseph Perez 2 years ago scoring a goal in an away game. So that's very, very interesting. Let's see if Brooke Sheriff can do the same in this game, get an opportunity to take a shot and maybe score a goal.
And to even just back that, when I was in high school, I was the goalkeeper, but also I was the all-around player. I could play any position that I was forced to play in. But what I always noticed is that as soon as the goalkeeper got on the field, everyone always assumes that they do not have the full-on defensive mindset or even the forward mindset when it's far from the case. They're the ones that have more mindset compared to everybody else because they have to understand their players and even the opponents that they're playing against.
Absolutely. And here's going to be another goal scoring opportunity for the Cougars. There's been a foul on Brooke Sheriff. I will say she is a warrior. She really tries to fight off those defenders. She's actually going to take the free kick. Probably good considering that she usually clears the ball. So this opportunity, she'll get the ball into the box and try to see if anybody wins it on the header. This is a strength for the Cougars because they're really good with headers right here. An opportunity. She's going to send the cross in. It's a long, but unfortunately, it goes completely wide. It doesn't even really get to the players.
For that one, the wind surely got a hold of that ball before she could even 100% get the full kickoff.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate because that was a very, very good position to send that free kick into the box. Be a couple subs for the Dominican side. Liliana Arachiga goes in for Mia Dozen. And then another sub that's going to be going in. It'll be another opportunity for the Dominican side. Sends the shot, but it's right over the goal. Gets the contact very, very low on the ball. Just lifts it up and doesn't even get it on target. But like I said, Leslie O'Neill will be coming in for Megan Wilhite. It'll be a throw in for Dominican. 40 minutes in, and it's a very, very interesting match. Both teams with the possibility of taking it. Let's hope that the Cougars find another amazing wonder strike like the one that we saw from Grace Chavez. And I would say that the wind has actually died down a little bit from when it started. It was a lot worse in the beginning of the game. So hopefully that plays to our advantage. All right, it'll be the Cougars finding the ball, trying to move forward. Ball is deflected. Now Dominican gets the ball again. It'll be back to the Cougars. Trying to find a through ball, but not really looking up when sending the pass. Schultzman tries to recover. One of those very, very important players on this team, especially on that defense. Comes Dominican. Schultzman pressures. Tries to recover. She does. Now it'll be Erica Flores. Erica Flores still has the ball. Flores to Flores. Doesn't quite get enough power on that pass to make it. Now it'll be a counterattack for the Dominican side. Looking for opportunities. Not too many. Everybody's being covered, honestly. There's somebody in the middle. Completely unmarked, but other than that, not too many options for Dominican. And honestly, I think this might be one of the last plays of the game. 1 minute left. 1.5 minutes left. Cougars sending it forward, kind of just trying to run down the clock. To really talk about what the positives of this first half were, what the negatives were, how they can improve, and how they can take the game in the second half. Because honestly, this Dominican team doesn't seem to be showing that they recovered well from that goal. Really was a wonder strike that kind of stressed them out a little bit. I can see that their passes are not as good as in the first couple of minutes. And the Cougars are really recovering. They're really making better passes, keeping the possession more. You could see it right here, trying to find more opportunities to go forward. The defense is actually in the middle of the field now, as opposed to all the way over by Naomi Gonzalez in the first few minutes. Be a throw in for the Cougars. Trying to find one more last opportunity. Mia Hirayama over to Schlisman. Sends the ball through. Hirayama trying to find any opportunity to go forward. There's only 20 seconds left. I think that'll be the last play. The Cougars should try to just keep the ball as much as possible these last few seconds, not risk anything. But no, they're going forward, trying to find any opportunity. And that'll be pretty much it, with the first half ending at a 1-1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, this game has been unbelievably interesting. What are your thoughts on it, Lydia?
Both teams for sure made a whole bunch of mistakes in this first half, but us Cougars, we were able to capitalize on every single mistake possible. And even when we made the mistakes, we recovered faster than what the Dominican Stars could do. And then even putting in a player to upset the Dominicans' confidence, but boost ours it's a very impressive defeat for the Stars to be able to not be able to capitalize on the different change in the shift.
Yeah, absolutely. This end of the game, this end of this first half, feels really good because given that this Dominican team comes in here into this field being the dominant side with all these wins and this much better record, and we are able to kind of neutralize every single play that they've had, it's really positive, and I'm very excited for this second half. I think that Coach Eddie Garza can really give them a great speech during halftime to change the outcome of this match and even take the win. Thank you very much. We'll be right back on the Cougar Sports Network in a couple of minutes.
University Chicago is a Christ-centered Lutheran university where truth, freedom, and vocation form students for lives of influence and service for the common good. Our university offers a wide variety of undergraduate and graduate degree options that are available in person and online. That means we have a program designed for you. Whether you're a high school student, an adult returning to complete your degree, or someone looking to enhance your credentials and prepare for career growth. As a member of this university community, you'll also find support in your spiritual and personal life so you can grow in the faith and discover ways to serve others. To start your next journey with us, visit cuchicago.edu today.
I do have a regular tutor. I come to see him every Friday. This is something I actually started doing here at Concordia. I never really sought tutoring before.
As the Dean of Students, I work closely with our students here, all the way from orientation through to graduation in a variety of capacities. We have CU Learn up on the second floor of the Christopher Center, which is a great space with some fantastic resources for our students.
This is more of a workspace, a hands-on place. We have small cubicles you can work in that have video screens so you can work on a presentation. You can work with your tutors for content areas.
Here at CU Learn, I tutor the natural sciences. For anyone who wants to become a student tutor, it will definitely expand and cement your understanding of the information you already know.
We were friends first, and once she got a job as a tutor, I was like, perfect, I know a tutor. I can go to her for help whenever I need it. I've received help studying and help with writing.
Being a tutor has actually helped me. I think it's kind of shown me where my strengths and weaknesses lie. Kind of complement each other in that sense so we can help each other out.
We've got subject tutors for nearly every subject up there, as well as our writing center. Our writing center is a great resource.
When I assign papers to class, I encourage every student to make sure eyes other than theirs read through their paper. The writing center is the first option. I always encourage students to make use of those resources.
Students can actually email their papers to the writing center and get feedback. All of our services are both offered in person in the CU Learn space as well as virtual appointments. Students can access Navigate. Navigate allows students to access a large list of resources, kind of where to go for different needs that they might have on campus. The core values of Christian faith, the individual, excellence, integrity, and service. I see CU Learn living those out every day.
All of your academic supports are concentrated in one location. If you need it, we should be able to help you here.
Everyone's goal in college is to succeed, right? To learn. CU Learn's been great support to my students.
It's never ways to better your education or to strengthen your skills or skills you may not have. It's always good to learn a bit more and never to just sit back and not do anything.
The space itself, it's a really nice study space, large windows, a lot of natural light, a good quiet environment to work.
It's actually helped me learn a lot. Like even these classes that I've taken before, it's definitely enhanced my learning. So it's fun, I keep learning.
Make sure you come in and try it. It'll feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. I felt more comfortable in my studies, completing anything necessary.
It's helped me become better, it's helped me hone those skills, and it's helped me make sure that my writing and my other academic areas are as strong as they can be.
Hi, I'm Monica here at Concordia University Chicago, and we're here outside of Concordia Hall.
Concordia Hall is the university's newest residence hall, right on the edge of campus, perfect for students who want to explore the nearby downtown of Oak Park and River Forest. The flexible suite-style living in fully furnished bedrooms lets students choose what works best for them. Every floor is complete with a community lounge and full common kitchen, with a kitchenette, microwave, sink, and refrigerator. The first floor offers the Victory Lounge, connecting to 2 additional residence halls, with no shortage of ways to relax. You're also right next to an open, outdoor plaza, better known as Victory Lane.
So now we're here in Concordia Hall's suite-style dorm room, and this is a really nice place to just hang out and chill. And since it's so big, there's plenty of room to spread out and do your homework and just relax. So now making our way into one of the bedrooms, there's plenty of space in this room for you and your roommate. A lot of times students will move the desks so that they've got their separate study space, but my roommate and I, we get along really well, so we can just work together here in the same space. Sometimes I like doing art as well, as you can see by the painting here. It's a 16 by 10 feet space, and most rooms on campus are 10 by 12 feet. So it's really nice to have a little extra space to work with here in Concordia Hall. So this hall is super close to the chapel and the Kennedy Community Center, which has the new Crossroads Dining Hall. So the location is super convenient. And I really love the city scene too. The location here is the closest on campus to the Oak Park River Forest downtown area, which has a ton of great stores and restaurants. Speaking of the city scene, I adore the view from this lounge because you can see the Chicago skyline right there.
Concordia Hall at Concordia University Chicago.
You can't sleep here, Charlie.
Become a CUC nursing student and choose to stand tall for healing at a university that places Christ at the center and embraces teaching students to live a life fulfilled by purpose and meaning. Concordia University Chicago's new Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree is an innovative and rigorous 4-year program that will prepare you to rise to the daily challenges of a rewarding nursing career and serve a greater cause. Our newly built modern simulation center features 4 distinct spaces: a skills attainment lab, multi-specialty intensive care spaces, a health assessment learning center, and a simulated home environment. Due to our close proximity to many world-class teaching hospitals, CUC's clinical rotations offer an abundance of diverse and real-world experiences. Learn more about earning your BSN at a Christ-centered university today.
Down through the ages, God has called and equipped people to make a real difference in the lives of others. To lead, to heal, to stand tall. For 160 years, Concordia University Chicago has been preparing the next generation of leaders with the wisdom, faith, and values to make an impact in the world, to share the gifts God gave them and answer the call to a life fulfilled by purpose and truth, to be living examples of what it means to live with Christ at the center as we serve others. Because at CUC, we don't run away from adversity, we go towards it. We don't shrink from our faith, we lead with it. We are teachers, caregivers, and musicians, scientists, pastors, and business leaders, unshakable pillars of strength and integrity who serve a cause greater than ourselves. And the world needs us now more than ever. Learn how a degree from Concordia University Chicago can help you be the pillar the world needs to stand for something greater. The only question is, are you ready to stand tall?
Hello, welcome back to this River Forest windy afternoon in this game between Dominican and Concordia University of Chicago. 1-1, and the game is very, very interesting at the end of this first half. Now going into the second half, 11 shots to 5 shots for the Cougars. It seems on the stat sheet like the Dominican side is completely dominating, but no, we ended that first half with the Cougars really, really taking a lot of the initiative and, really keeping a lot more possession, making a lot better passes. I'm Alfredo Jaramillo Ruiz with Lydia Vonderhaar. What are your thoughts on this first few minutes of the second half?
Well, in the first 5 seconds, the Dominican looked like they were about to score, but our Cougars were able to keep their composure and able to have a counter and almost a scoring chance with Erica taking it from the 30 to their 40 and giving it off to one of her teammates for another trying opportunity.
Yeah, and here comes another opportunity for the Dominican side. But, however, we've stated this in the first half, which is the solidness of this Cougars defense. This Cougars defense is not something that teams really get through that easily. Usually it's mistakes that we often make, but when it comes to one-on-one defending, it's a really good solid core of players like Reagan Espinoza, like Schlisman, like Alvarado. We see other players like Wheelock, Julia Arbanchek, and many more. But here's another thing with this team is we cannot allow shots from outside the box. And here's a shot, but Naomi Gonzalez gets it. Nothing to be worried about. Straight at her hands. Not too powerful as well, so there's no risk of deflecting it off and having another shot come in. But like I said, we cannot allow these shots from outside the box because those can sometimes be a little bit complicated, either with this wind, which it's gone back to being a very windy day. And like we saw in the first half, there was a shot from Grace Chavez that was absolutely fantastic, went to the back of the net. I don't know how much of that shot was affected by the wind. Either way, unbelievable shot. And from there on, Dominican has not really shown signs of taking complete dominance of the rest of the match. It's been mostly a back and forth, then slowly to a more dominant CUC side. And I really want to see what Coach Eddie Garza's approach to the second half is. There's an opportunity to get on the ball, but no problem for the Cougars defense. Alvarado sending it down over to Schlisman. Looking for a long ball. Trying to find any opportunity to get a through ball over to the Dominican side. I think we ended this first half with the majority of the possession, which is something that you didn't see in the first few minutes. Now it'll be Reagan Espinoza with the throw-in over to Flores. Reagan Espinoza again, the number 9 fullback. You don't see that too often, but she has been important, really important to this team. She has kept that starting position for the majority of the season. Be Julia Arbanchek, who pressures. That's one of the strengths of this Cougar side. They put a lot of pressure on the attackers. They don't allow them to have any ability to find open spaces. Just tries to send a cross, but it's been deflected. It'll be a corner. Very interesting opportunity for the Dominican side very early on into the game, only 5 minutes in. But corners are actually a little bit more of a strength for the Cougars, given that they usually win most of the headers. Here comes the cross in. Naomi Gonzalez does well to punch it out. And now it's going to be another opportunity to send a cross. The Cougars don't win it. Neither does Dominican. The ball is bouncing inside. Now it'll be a clearance, but now it's again the Dominican side that has the opportunity. Very, very complicated for both teams. Like we said at the end of the first half, it doesn't matter how these teams came into this game. If they won 5 games in a row, 3 games in a row, or lost their last couple of games, this is a game that could be for anyone. This game is one that is fought by both teams very, very strongly. And we can see it right here. Even though the stat sheet says that Dominican has had more opportunities and has dominated, it really doesn't show the full picture of how well this Cougars team has played during the entire first half. Running down the wing, Dominican player trying to find an opportunity. This is clear shot. And I don't understand how she did not get a good shot on that. That was going straight towards her. Naomi Gonzalez is so thankful that did not go on target. It didn't even get a deflection on it. Dominican still keeping possession with the beginning of this first half being a little bit more aggressive than the end of with the beginning of the second half being a little bit more aggressive than the end of the first half. Now it'll be Naomi Gonzalez letting her players kind of just adjust to try to recover that momentum that they ended up with. It'll be a foul or perhaps a handball. Now it'll be Cougars who keep possession and try to find any chance that they get to expand their lead in this game and really put a lot of pressure and worry on the Dominican team. Here's an opportunity, but it's well defended, honestly. The whole entire game has just been Cougars defense on point. What are your thoughts on this Cougars defense? Do you think that what do you think that it's their strengths for this game?
Their communication is much louder and probably much more profound than the Stars are, because from in the box I can't really hear what the Stars are trying to communicate with their team, but I can definitely hear the Cougars telling their teammates to push up, push back, help, come back, clear it, head it, just like all the small ticks of communications that always help any type of game like this stay so close.
Yeah, and the Dominican Stars might have a little bit of an edge on the when it comes to ability, but if they don't communicate, the Cougars do really well when it comes to communicating. So that's going to be a really, really positive aspect to this team. I mean, all you got to do is really polish a few of the mistakes that the Cougars have made, and you've got a more dominant side than the Dominican one.
It's just like for most coaches say, you could have the most talent and the hardest working people. If you don't know how to put the talent and the hard work together without communication, then you really don't have a team, and there's no foundation for your team. It's just one-on-ones or me in a team that in a game such like soccer where you don't want to have just one person trying to lead the whole entire game when it's 11v11, not 1v11.
Yeah, and we've seen this with the men's team as well, which they have very talented players, but sometimes they lack a little bit of that communication between each other, and then you have plays that don't work out. You have games that we end up losing, in which we could have done a little bit more. Here we see an opportunity for the Dominican Stars to look for a goal. Sends the cross in, but it's Not quite gotten a good contact on there right there. Rue tries to take a shot, but it's gone absolutely wide. Now it'll be a ball for Naomi Gonzalez. We're only approximately 11 minutes in, and it hasn't been as exciting as in the first half, but I'm still hoping to see this Cougar side try to go for a second goal. Here's an opportunity for Dominican, but it's well defended right there by Reagan Espinoza. Not exactly the tallest player, but very, very quick, very nimble, and very good when it comes to defending. Just those stand tackles are really, really good, and she does well with man marking too. Yeah, that was a very, very close opportunity they had right there. Had Reagan Espinoza not been there, she would have been on the Dominican player would have been on a one-on-one with the keeper. Seems to be that it's going to be a free kick for the Dominican side. Sending it long, trying to find her teammate. But it's been cleared by Schilsman. It'll be a ball for the Dominican side. Still only a couple minutes into this game, yet we see the Cougars little by little finding their way through, making better passes, dominating more in the possession, trying to go forward, putting pressure on the Dominican defense as well. It'll be Reagan versus Rue. Reagan's the one who wins the ball right there. Now it'll be Rue for the Dominican side. Reagan gets her once again, covering perfectly. It'll be an opportunity, but once again, like we just keep mentioning how good this Cougars defense is doing throughout this entire game. It's not like the Dominican side isn't getting opportunities. They really are. But it just seems like they can't get a good shot in because of that amazing defense. Just keeps blocking every pass, every shot, every through ball, every one-on-one. It'll be a corner for the Dominican University. Ball still bouncing in the net. Bouncing in the box, my bad. Nothing to worry about now. Naomi Gonzalez with the ball.
When you look at our lineup for our roster and you look at our back line and our goalie, you notice how it's a very young sophomore and mostly dominant freshman backside. But most of the time when you look at that, most teams like, oh, you would want your more experienced seniors and not even juniors and maybe one or two sophomores back there. But having freshmen keeping hold and keeping everything in check is an extremely it's props to the younger side of our team.
Yeah, there was a cross right there that almost nearly found the head of one of the Dominican players. But yeah, like you said, it's with this team, the thing is that there's a lot of freshmen, so you really do have to give them a lot more minutes than what you would usually have in a college program in which you give your seniors, your juniors, maybe even some sophomores the starting position. But I believe that this is really good to build a solid team because you have players that get that experience in their first few years. They get that confidence. Here's a shot that comes in, and it's blocked by the keeper. Unbelievable. Really good shot. I don't think that she got a hand on it, though. At least not from what the ref saw. Very, very close shot. It went a little bit wide. But going back to the point that we were talking about, the Cougars do have many freshmen, and giving them those minutes allows them to develop a lot more. It's a process of getting minutes, slowly getting confidence, improving, and just because at a college level, players are faster, stronger, more intelligent than at a high school level. So I think giving them all those minutes is really, really good for their development. And coming into the game as a substitute, Mia Hirayama. Here's an opportunity for the Dominican side. Reagan will get on it. However, it's a bit of a bad contact and nearly went against her goal. Fortunately, it went wide. Got to be careful with those clearances because sometimes if you don't get a good contact on it, it could end up at the back of your own goal. It's going to be a corner for the Dominican Stars. Sends a cross in. Who's going to win it? Concordia Cougars clear it. Still pressuring number 3, Klinger. Now it'll be Rue trying to go down the wing, finding an opportunity to send the cross, and she does. Doesn't quite get a good contact when it comes to her teammate trying to take a shot in the half volley. Still Dominican trying to find a way to get through that Cougars defense, but Reagan pressuring Flores now. If one doesn't get it, there's somebody else there to clear that ball. It's going to be another corner for the Dominican Stars. Very enthusiastic fans. Sends the cross in. It's an opportunity, but Naomi Gonzalez gets on it. It's going to be a corner? No, it's going to be ball for Naomi Gonzalez. There was a deflection off of one of the Dominican players. You can hear the enthusiastic fans. Like I said, this is a very, very special game for both sides. Wouldn't say the equivalent of a Real Madrid Barcelona, but very, very competitive indeed. Now Reagan covering the Dominican players. Takes a shot, but it's gone wide. I will say there hasn't been too many shots from the Dominican Stars this second half. Most of the shots were in their first half, and we see that trend in the amount of shots and goals that they've had. Here's an opportunity for them, and it's a goal for the Dominican Stars. Defensive mistake by the Cougars. And Dominican do not allow those mistakes to go, because now they have one more goal onto this game. 2-1. Dominican Stars winning. Concordia, Chicago are going to try to recover from that defensive mistake. What should their approach be now that they are down in the score sheet?
Before I answer that question, there was 3 mistakes in a row that led to a horrible clearing. The first clearing was they didn't clear it. They cleared it back instead of out and away, like to the left or the right sides. They try to clear it back out, so it's just like closer to the goal line, which ends up having another 3 more chances as a corner kick. And then when they were trying to clear it just now for their goal kick, and it just looked like there's going to be another goal. But after their goal kick, when Naomi passed it over, she didn't turn her hips whatsoever at all, so she was still facing her own net, and she only had either to kick it for another goal kick for Dominican or try to do a hope play, and she did the hope play, and that's how Dominican capitalized on it.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate given that the Cougars had been having a little bit more of a chance. Here's another opportunity for Dominican to get another goal onto the score. She takes a shot, and it's straight over the goal, but just skimming that top post. Just right over the crossbar. Very, very close to being a third goal. And the Cougars have to really get a response, take a response to this Dominican side, who are a little bit, excited about that second goal. They want a third goal. They want to end this game. They do not want to end at a 2-1. They really want to make a huge impact, a huge difference in this score sheet. It's unfortunate given that the Cougars had been looking a lot better at the end of the first half, and even in this second half. Dominican hadn't had too many opportunities, about 3 shots, most of them off target. However, just as we were saying that the defensive mistake came, and then the Dominican goal, another shot blocked by Naomi Gonzalez. Now she's having to do a lot more than at the end of the first half. And some of those shots are not even like inside the box. A lot of those shots are from outside the box. The defensive mistake didn't even come that close to the goal. It came from nearly the edge of the area, close to outside of the box, and then there was just so much space for them to finish. Here's another cross, header won by Dominican, but it will be going out, and it's Naomi Gonzalez's ball. Very difficult to change the outcome of this game now because Dominican have found a little bit of enthusiasm in how they want to attack. It's very difficult. The Cougars, however, cannot let this affect their morale. They have to continue to play the way that they ended the first half. And now Schlissman will be coming back onto the field. Be Grace Chavez trying to win that header. Now it's Dominican again. Shanks didn't quite get on it. That'll be a clearance from Naomi Gonzalez. The defender is going to take that clearance. Be a goal kick. Way too far, and the ball was kind of wasted right there. Now it'll be ball for the Dominican side. They cannot lose possession like that if they want to make a change in this game, if they want to give a response to the Dominican side. This Cougars team can't waste any of these opportunities that they have. Here's another one. Will she take it? She takes a shot or not? Cross or shot? Shot, and it's wide. Unfortunately, wasn't on target, but it's better that we have these opportunities, that we push forward, that there's some sort of response instead of just staying on our half. Like I said, this game could be anyone's, but this Cougars team cannot allow any more of those mistakes. Because Dominican capitalize on every single one that they get. Ball's going to be for Flores. He's going to probably look back to cross it. What clearance from the Dominican player. That'll be Rue versus Schlissman. Schlissman gets on the ball. Looking for an opportunity. Makes a mistake. Now Rue. Schlissman again. That'll be Dosen. Dosen sends a through ball a little bit way too long, but will she reach it? No, she won't. It'll be a goal kick for the Cougars. Once again, the keeper, Naomi Gonzalez, is not taking the goal kicks. It's her defender. Sending it out to Grace Chavez. Grace Chavez losing possession, but it'll be a throw-in for the Cougars. Reagan Espinoza is going to send the ball forward. Grace Chavez moving in to try to get a header on it. Doesn't quite get it. Grace Chavez over to Brooke Sheriff. be a substitution for the Dominican side and another one for the Cougars. Grace Chavez, the goal scorer, will be the one who goes off the field. And in her place will be coming on Natalie Flores. Reagan gets a header on it. Flores. Now Naomi Gonzalez catches the ball, looks for an opportunity to send it forward. Trying to find her player, but it just goes out the field. "19 minutes left of this game, a little bit over 19 minutes. And the Cougars have to find an opportunity to respond. Here's a cross for the Dominican side. Nobody gets there. It's going to be a goal, but no, right on the line. Right on the line. I don't know who it was that cleared it, but that was clearly the third goal, and apparently it didn't go past the line. There's a defender right there to make sure that this game wasn't ended 19 minutes before it ends. There's another Cougars player going down the wing, getting pressured on by the Dominican side. Now cleared by Dominican. Another mistake back there in defense, but they did well to recover. Now here's a cross for Concordia. Natalie Flores tried to get control of that ball to try to get a shot. Now it'll be Reagan Espinoza who sends the ball back in through a throw-in. Brooke Sheriff doesn't control the ball. It'll be Dominican looking for an opportunity. But in defense, we do quite well. Now it'll be Reagan covering for that ball. It'll be a deflection, and it's going to be a corner.
Our Concordia Cougars, they're losing their composure. Now they're starting, their communication's going down, and since their communication down, we're making a whole lot more mistakes.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed as well. This Cougars team is not playing the way that we were at the end of the first half or even at the beginning of the second half, right before the goal. It feels like the same thing that happened to Dominican when we scored the first goal. Here's a cross, won by Dominican, but still bouncing around inside the box. Somebody clear it, and it is cleared by Flores. Still, Dominican has the ball. It'll be Lopez sending it forward. Rue against Schlissman. The one-on-one battle that we've been seeing all game. Rue versus Schlissman. Still with the ball. An opportunity to take a shot, and it's gone wide. We cannot allow any more of those shots to go through. I mean, we really have to make a complete change in this game in order to win it. I believe that this team has what it takes. We've seen it throughout this game in parts. Unfortunately, that second goal, that mistake, that defensive mistake, really hit the morale really bad and the confidence of this team. Ball is cleared forward. Reagan Espinoza clearing it again. Now Natalie Flores looking for a through ball. Doesn't find anyone. We don't seem to be looking up when we send a lot of these passes, and they often go to Dominican players, and we just lose possession of the ball. And we can't really go forward if that's the case. Now Schlissman sending a ball over to Alexa Martinez.
We've also stopped trying to get our bodies behind our ball. We're just kicking or putting one part instead of getting our whole entire body behind it to have a good control and then compose ourselves to continue to make the next play.
Yeah, we have to be a little bit more patient with these plays, with these passes, because I feel like a lot of the time these players are getting the ball and immediately looking for the pass. Sometimes you got to just wait, allow your players to move around and look for the best pass possible. Even if you can just keep possession for a little bit longer, it stresses the other team out because they do not have possession. They don't have the ball, and they want to recover. They want to pressure. And you're pretty much going to tire out the other team instead of tiring yourself out. Still for the Dominican side, it's going to be a throw-in now for the Cougars. An opportunity to get close to the goal, inside the box maybe. That's a one-on-one. Will be a corner. That'll be it'll be a clearance by the keeper now. Goal kick for Dominican. Comes an opportunity for the Cougars to go forward and find a cross. She cuts in. Dominican does well at defending, and now it's going to be called a foul. Only 14 minutes left of this match. Still an opportunity for the Cougars to equalize. However, ever since that second goal by Dominican, they have just been racking up the stats. 22 shots to 7, 8 of them on target to 3, and a lot more saves by Naomi Gonzalez than by the Dominican keeper. 6-2. We've also seen that the Concordia Cougars have been a little bit more aggressive when it comes to their tackles, given that they have 8 fouls total. One really unfortunate thing for the Cougars, though, is that they have not had any corners yet. As opposed to Dominican, who've had already a total of 9 of them, in which one of those was the first one, ended up in the initial goal that we saw in the first 2 minutes of the game. Still Dominican trying to get a third one, sending the cross in, but well read by the defense. Now it'll be Brooke Sheriff who gets the ball, sending it through to Moreno. This could be an opportunity if she gets through the last defender. Now going down the wing, their defenders now get there. It's a little bit more complicated, but still, Izzy Fairless takes the shot, and it's gone wide. It was a great idea, but just didn't get a good contact on it. Went a little bit down the side. Power was kind of there. The idea was good. The placement was good of how the composure but before shooting, but just didn't really get it on target. Still trying to win the ball over. Now Izzy Fairless trying to make a difference right away, starting into the game. Almost committed another defensive mistake. But Schlisman does well to get it far away from Rue. Seems like it's going to be a throw-in for the Dominican Stars. Mia Hirayama leaving the field, and incoming Sofia Cáceres. Play probably a more defensive role. Or perhaps Coach Eddie Garza wants her to move a little bit more up and try to look for more attacking opportunities. Throw in from Dominican. Won by the Cougars. Now they have possession of the ball. They're going to look to go forward. On the other side, sending the ball to Natalie Flores, but not the greatest of passes. Schlisman still has the ball, trying to clear it. Doesn't want to make any mistake or complicate herself anymore. Sending the ball forward. Still looking for
a through ball that will get them that second goal to equalize the game. Moreno sending it to no, it's Sofia Cáceres who takes the shot, but it's just been wide. It's going to be a corner. Actually, it's going to be the first corner that they have all game for the Cougars. They really thrive off of these corners, so they really, really, really have to take this opportunity because it's a golden one. Everybody inside the box. Going to be a cross. Cross comes in. Who'll win the header? Nobody. And now the Cougars scramble to get back on defense to prevent a counterattack from the Dominican Stars. Well done by Natalie Flores, but Rue gets through. It's one-on-one. But now the defenders get back into position. They recover the ball well. Over to Schlisman. Moving forward, Grace Chavez on one side. Over on the other side, Izzy Fairless. Sofia Cáceres. Moreno. Over to Grace Chavez. She's going to take the shot. No, she's going to cross it a little bit too much. Didn't quite get a good pass over for her teammates.
If that ball would have connected like it did, or it hit, and she was able to get a header, that would have been probably would have been up there with the goal that they just scored with the beautiful header.
Yeah, I think that this game, what the Cougars have really lacked in is those crosses, because they usually thrive of them. A lot of their goals have been from getting down the wing, crossing a ball, and then somebody being inside the box and getting either a touch with the foot or getting a header. They do really well with that. And somehow, this game, I haven't seen them play that much to the wings. They've usually, even when they do play to the wings, they just go back and try to go down the middle, find a shot through the middle of the field. I don't know if that's perhaps something that Coach Eddie Garza wants them to do a lot more. But I think that what they've been thriving off all season is those crosses. Be Reagan Espinoza versus Borsellino. Sending a through ball. Will White. Ball recovered. Looking for Erica Flores, but sends a really long ball, trying to look for Brooke Sheriff. Once again, Borsellino. Dominican still keeping possession of the ball. Only 7 minutes, and then takes a shot, and it's deflected by Naomi Gonzalez. Wasn't the most complicated of shots, but still, she didn't want to make anything any more complicated than it had to be. She just clears it a little bit over to her defender. Seven minutes to go. 7 minutes in which the Cougars have to try to make a difference. It's going to be a throw-in by the Cougars now. Cáceres sending a through ball. Doesn't quite get to her player. It'll be a cross, but it'll be a corner now. Second corner for the Cougars. And once again, they cannot waste these opportunities. There's only 6 minutes left. And this is one of their strengths, which is the corners. Sofia Cáceres sends the cross in. An opportunity to get a goal, still in the box. Takes a shot, second shot, but now the keeper for the Dominican Stars has the ball without any further issues.
time is running out. The Cougars are trying to still go forward and find any sense of opportunities to score the second goal, the equalizer, the one that puts them level in the game. Comes across, and nothing to worry about for the Dominican Stars. Sending the ball really long into the middle of the field. Trying to find any bounce that favors them. Rue with the ball. Sierra Rue is one of those players that we've seen for the Dominican Stars do really well. She really has done quite a good job at getting those passes, those through balls, making those runs. Here's an opportunity for her. They've been man-marking her the whole entire game with one or two players. You don't see every single player on that field getting man-marked like that. Sofia Cáceres recovers the ball, but it's called a foul. Now it'll be the Dominican Stars' possession to take that free kick. Four minutes to go. Will the Cougars be able to come back into this game? Sends the long ball in. Now in the hands of Naomi Gonzalez. Trying to get her teammates to move forward quickly because they don't have too much time. Sofia Cáceres fights for that ball. Still Izzy Fairless. Now it'll be Flores. Flores to Flores. See an opportunity to take a shot here or send a cross. Take a shot or send a cross. Which one will it be? I believe that was a cross, but it got deflected off the defender and nearly ended in the back of the net. Went just slightly wide. It'll be a corner for the Cougars. Third one of the match. We've seen 3 corners in the last 10 minutes of this match, as opposed to the rest of the game in which we hadn't seen a single corner for the Cougars.
Cougars need to capitalize on their corner kicks right now, especially since there's less than 3 minutes left of this game.
Cross has been sent in. Goalkeeper doesn't get it. Still for the Cougars. Tries to send a shot in, but doesn't send it on target. Ball will be for the Dominican Stars again. Only 2.5 minutes left. Cardiac finish for this game. The stats reflect that the Dominican side dominated, but it doesn't tell the full story because the Cougars are now having more opportunities than Dominican. It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride with this game. It's been domination from Dominican, then the Cougars, then Dominican again, now the Cougars. Want to see a really good end of the game for the home side. Naomi Gonzalez trying to find the ball as quick as possible to move forward. She knows that time is running out. Schlisman now with the ball. Over to Urbanchek. Sofia Cáceres. Seems to be a foul, and it's going to be for the Cougars. Sofia Cáceres trying to hurry up the play, but there's only 1.5 minutes left. Not sure if this is going to be the last goal-scoring opportunity, but surely there won't be too many after this. Sofia Cáceres sending it all the way forward. Now Dominican recover. They don't really have too many people up top. They're focusing all their defense, focusing every single bit of it onto defending this result. Schlisman sending it forward. Cáceres. Over to Urbanchek. Urbanchek over to Flores. Now Reagan has the ball, sending it to Cáceres. Cáceres over to Reagan. Reagan tries to go back and find who she can send it to. Only a minute left. 55 seconds. Izzy Fairless moving it over to Cáceres. They have to try to get one more opportunity. It'll be a fight between Flores, Moreno. Erica Flores now has the ball, looking over to her side. She receives the ball again. This is the last play of the game. Will they be able to equalize it? "20 seconds left. Natalie Flores with the ball. Gets taken away, but Cáceres recovers it. Tries to get through. Will she take the shot? And it's deflected. No foul is called. And it seems like the result is final. Ladies and gentlemen, 2-1. The Dominican Stars take the win. Cougars fought very well. Unfortunately, there was a defensive mistake that kind of just cemented the result of this game. 23 shots to 13 shots for the Cougars. Like I said throughout this game, it does not reflect how much these two teams fought for the win. The Cougars, in my opinion, I would say, were the better side for the majority of the game. Unfortunately, they did not have the luck of basically scoring a few of those opportunities that they had. What are your thoughts on it before we go on to the end of this match?
I mean, there was first half was definitely the better half for both teams. It was more competitive, there was more opportunities, a lot more mistakes that a lot of both teams capitalized on, and also a lot more composure, and communications throughout. And then in the second half, it was definitely the Dominican Stars had a lot more of the upper hand. They kept their composure. They were in the lead, and they kept the pressure going on, and our Cougars couldn't capitalize on those mistakes that were happening.
Yeah, I agree. Not the greatest event for this Cougar side, but like I said, very young team, getting all this experience in their first season for a lot of them, a lot of the freshmen. And I believe that next season they will come back stronger with more experience, and they will have a much better season. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. It's been Alfredo Jaramillo Ruiz here with Lydia Vanderhaar, and we'll see you next time in the Cougar Sports Network.
So much for tuning in to today's Concordia University Chicago Cougars Athletics broadcast. We hope to see you on campus very soon. If you would like to learn more about what Concordia Chicago has to offer, go to cuchicago.edu.